It's 4 o'clock. The top stories live on 7 News. Breaking news, no jail for a speedboat driver who killed his girlfriend on the Hawkesbury. Happening now, Outback Wrangler Matt Wright sentencing for a deadly chopper crash. Just in, Bonnie Blue learns her punishment for taking her controversial truck around Bali. Tom Silvani's rape victim calls out his crimes, but his famous father isn't giving up the fight. Even Susan Lee backs a rethink of poly travel perks, the PM under pressure. And Lady Gaga on stage in Sydney tonight, but will the rain clear in time?
Live from Sydney, 7 News with Hugh Whitfeld.
Good afternoon. We start with breaking news. A speedboat driver responsible for a crash on the Hawkesbury River that killed his girlfriend has escaped jail time. Brendan Faithful was drunk and naked behind the wheel and travelling at speed when the vessel hit the riverbank in February last year. Emergency services struggled to find the wreckage at dusk, and Samantha Louise Jones died by the time they arrived. A court heard he had accepted responsibility and was remorseful. The judge saying he was plagued by the knowledge he was responsible for the catastrophe. But he was only sentenced to 1 year and 10 months, served as an intensive corrections order. A developing story this afternoon. It's a big day at the Supreme Court in Darwin. As we go to air, Outback TV star Matt Wright is facing sentencing over a deadly helicopter crash that killed his best friend. Prosecutors have told the judge he should do jail time after he was found guilty of lying to police investigating the chopper accident in 2022 and of pressuring a key witness. The hearing is currently adjourned, with the hearing to resume next hour. We'll have the outcome in the news at 6. To news just in, and adult star Bonnie Blue has agreed to pay a $20 fine after a Bali court gave her the option of the penalty or spending a month in prison for breaching local traffic rules. Authorities accused the OnlyFans entertainer, whose real name is Tia Billinger, of breaking the law by using an open-backed truck to carry passengers instead of goods. The vehicle was used to pick up men to film content with. The 26-year-old and her crew, including 2 British men and Australian comedian Julian Woods, have been ordered to leave the country and are banned from entering Indonesia for at least 10 years. For the first time, Anthony Albanese has suggested his government may act to curb the travel expenses of federal politicians as the scandal engulfing Parliament widens. Let's go live this afternoon to political reporter Tim Lester in Canberra. Tim, the Prime Minister has so far struggled to mute the criticism.
Yes, indeed, Hugh. For a week or more, it's looked like political leaders here thought this travel bans or travel over-expenditure would blow over in time. Well, today they changed gear.
Okay, do you hear me? Okay, I will go quick there.
Even the gods seem to be losing patience with politicians as the Prime Minister announced a plan to subsidise power and keep open Newcastle's Tomago, the country's biggest aluminium smelter.
To make sure that Australia continues to be a place that manufactures here.
Minutes later, undercover and minus his rain-soaked jacket, Prime Minister Albanese acknowledged he's asked Parliamentary's Expenses Authority to assess the travel claims furor.
I've said to IPEA, please give us some advice and we'll take that on board.
Senate estimates first pulled back the blanket over MPs' expenses, revealing Minister Annika Wells' 6-figure New York trip and starting a daily drip of details on politicians' self-indulgence.
What Minister Annika Wells has done is scandalous. Clearly scandalous.
9 years ago, a travel claim scandal forced Susan Lee to quit as a minister in the Turnbull government.
I put my hand up, I apologised, and I resigned.
Now she's written to the Prime Minister suggesting Annika Wells' claims should be tested against his ministerial code of conduct.
And any interpretation of that code indicates that it has been breached.
This as a second senior minister refers her own expenses to the Parliamentary Expenses Authority, that is Attorney General Michelle Rowland. Senior oppositions and Greens figures have also been caught in the scandal. Hugh?
OK, Tim Lester in Canberra, thank you. The man who killed 28-year-old childcare worker Molly Ticehurst in Forbes has formally pleaded guilty to her murder. Daniel Billings faced the New South Wales Supreme Court this morning via video link. The 30-year-old admitted to breaking into the young mother's home last year and stabbing her with a hunting knife 15 times while he was on bail. The crime triggered a change to the state's bail laws for serious domestic violence offences. The judge will sentence him in June next year. The woman raped by an AFL legend's son has bravely stared him down in court for 28 minutes, detailing how his evil and calculated assault changed her life. Carlton icon Stephen Silvani and his TV presenter wife Jo broke down as they declared they're standing by their boy. Blake Johnson was at the pre-sentence hearing.
It's been a highly emotional day in court. A 28-minute speech by the victim outlining how this rape has dramatically altered her life and affected her health. It ended with the convicted rapist's parents proclaiming his innocence outside court. The first time we've heard from Jo and Stephen Silvani.
Jo and I, together with our family members and friends, are so disappointed with the outcome. We all love and support our son Tom. Our son continues to maintain his innocence and we stand firmly behind him.
Earlier, the now 22-year-old victim told of nightmares, post-traumatic stress disorder, lost friendships and jobs, and debilitating health conditions as she struggles to get over the rape that occurred in January last year. "You raped me not once, but twice," she told Tom Silvani. "You know this, I know this, and now so does everyone else." She delivered the statement in person, occasionally looking up at the video link of Tom Silvani as she went. "Because of you, there's been times I couldn't even hug my dad because all I could feel was you touching me." She detailed the horrible thoughts that replay in her mind. "You holding my hands behind my back, where you got some kind of satisfaction out of immobilising me and raping me, no matter how many times I told you to stop." A jury found Tom Silvani guilty last week. A suppression order on his identity was lifted just yesterday.
We will be considering our options to appeal and shall not be making any further comments on this case. Our goal is to clear his name and bring him home. We ask for our privacy and to be respectful. We're very grateful for our ongoing support and our family. Sorry, guys.
The case returns to court next Wednesday, where a county court judge will decide how long Tom Silvani spends in jail.
Reddit has launched a High Court challenge against Australia's social media age ban. The company claims the restriction has the, quote, unfortunate effect of forcing intrusive and potentially insecure verification processes on adults as well as minors. It believes the measure is isolating teens from age-appropriate community engagement. The online discussion platform says its site is anonymous, isn't centred around social networking and doesn't promote friend requests or activity feeds. It's currently complying with the ban. 70,000 fans will descend on Sydney Olympic Park tonight to see Lady Gaga perform the first of two sold-out Mayhem Ball shows. Ticket holders are reminded public transport to and from Accor Stadium is free and parking must be pre-booked. The 14-time Grammy winner is down under for the first time in 11 years. The pop star's tour has sparked a tourism boom. Accor hotels reporting a 20% increase in bookings compared to the same time last year. Let's check the weather now. Amber Laidler joins us with the forecast. And Amber, how is the weather looking for those heading to the concert tonight?
Good afternoon, Hugh. Well, she's due to take to the stage about 7:30 p.m. We could still see a few light lingering showers, but the forecast does currently show any wet weather clearing pretty soon after if there's anything still hanging around. It follows a grey and soggy day with showers sweeping across Sydney from early morning. This is how the day played out at Blacktown. Several mils picked up there today, but more than 30 mils has been recorded recorded since 9 a.m. at Little Bay, Holsworthy and Appin. Parts of the Hunter, though, recording more than 70 and 80 millimetres in the 24 hours to 9 a.m. as severe storms developed across the state, particularly near the Central Coast. Lake Macquarie recorded 76 mils in just 2 hours this afternoon. Warnings have been in place throughout the day and are still active in some parts this afternoon, including for the Central Coast. Now, the latest on how those storms are developing, that's coming up in your full forecast soon, Hugh.
See you then, Amber. Thank you. Still to come on 7, troublemakers with a deodorant can and sparklers stage a fiery stunt on the light rail tracks. Deadlock over hospital bed blocks, health ministers stuck while elderly patients languish. Charlie Kirk's alleged assassin smiles as his lawyers fight to shut out news cameras. Homes blown to pieces by a belter of a blast and doorbell cameras filmed it all. And later, the fountain of youth hiding in the supermarket confectionery aisle.
You could win $5,000 this Christmas. 7 News and Alinta Energy are looking for New South Wales' best Christmas lights display. And the runner-up wins a $1,000 bill credit from Alinta Energy. So upload a photo or video of your place and you could win. Light up Christmas with 7 News and Alinta Energy.
2 teenage boys have been charged over this fiery stunt on the light rail on George Street in the city. The pair lit sparklers attached to a deodorant can last night, causing it to explode. After leaving it ablaze on the tracks, they ran off. Police arrested the 14 and 17-year-olds shortly after. There was no damage to the line and no one was hurt. The country's health ministers have failed to come up with an agreement to fund hospitals as elderly patients become stranded in wards waiting for aged care beds and NDIS support. Our health editor Jennifer Beshwati has the details.
Yes, good afternoon. Well, the state health ministers have described today's meeting in one word: frustrating. They were hoping for at least an extra $8 billion to cover what they say is an unacceptable bed block crisis, where elderly patients are languishing in public hospitals who are medically fit for discharge but have nowhere to go because there are no aged care beds available. The number now exceeding 3,000 according to the states, the equivalent of more than 3 major hospitals blocked. A third of that in Queensland, 800 in New South Wales, 250 in Victoria, 350 in South Australia, 300 in WA. Many are stuck for months, even years.
That they're effectively homeless, stuck in our hospital system. It is also awful for other patients who need our hospital system for emergency care where those beds aren't available.
It's very frustrating for all of us to have to be coming back time and time again saying this offer is not acceptable.
The Federal Health Minister Mark Butler says the meeting was constructive but wouldn't commit to additional funding at this stage.
One of the truisms of Australian politics, particularly in the health sector, has been that states want more money from the Commonwealth. I'm not surprised that that was a position that health ministers put again today, but ultimately this deal has to be landed.
He's hopeful the Prime Minister will meet with the Premiers before Christmas to end this stalemate and make the care of older and disabled Australians a national priority.
31 people have been killed and 68 injured when the military junta bombed a hospital in Myanmar. Aid workers say an army jet attacked the site in a state bordering Bangladesh on Wednesday night, leaving wards buried by rubble. The country has been gripped by a brutal civil war, with strikes escalating ahead of an election later this month. The man accused of murdering Charlie Kirk appeared in court in person for the first time today in Utah. 22-year-old Tyler Robinson allegedly shot the Conservative activist dead at a university campus in September. The hearing focused on limiting media access in the high-profile criminal case. Defence lawyers and the Sheriff's Office asked a judge to ban cameras from the trial. 6 people have been injured after a gas main explosion in a San Francisco neighbourhood. The blast ripped through buildings and video of the detonation is unbelievable.
Terrifying moments captured on this doorbell camera, a monstrous explosion rocking a quiet neighbourhood.
The neighbour's house exploded.
The force ripping through multiple homes, sparking a fire and injuring 6 people, all rushed to hospital. Video shows what appears to be part of a roof falling on top of a person in a construction vehicle.
We have 1 patient with extensive burn.
Officials say 2 people believed to be residents are unaccounted for.
It's possible that they're at work or at school.
Authorities say the blast was triggered after a work crew struck an underground gas line. 2 hours later, the power company was able to turn off the gas in the area, but the explosion happened shortly after. Neighbours say they felt lucky to escape the blast, debris falling on their properties.
The whole roof fell in on us, on me in the bedroom.
Emma Cropper, 7 News.
Still ahead, a measles alert for Sydney, new hotspots listed, plus war on a scale faced by their grandparents. Europe warned an enemy is at their door. Tech titans behind a digital revolution changing our lives share a Time magazine title. In sport with Tom Sacre, Pat Cummins' final run-through in Sydney before his likely Ashes comeback. And Benji Marshall's long-term commitment to West Tigers amid their off-field turmoil.
7 News connecting Sydney.
A BMW peeled apart after a frightening high-speed crash.
Connecting you first.
A return trip soon to cost double.
Connecting the issues.
Turning Christmas shopping into chaos.
We're connecting people with people.
7 News, connecting you.
Hello, tonight in 7 News, piling on the pressure, developments in the expenses scandal, how close our bushfire aircraft came to disaster, the damning report. Disney embraces AI, offering up its most famous faces, a new weight loss drug showing better results than the current wonder jabs, and a Christmas food safety warning. Sydney 7 News at 6.
On the afternoon news, Tom Sacre's here with sport. Tom, good news. Pat Cummins is ready for the Ashes.
It is good news. Good afternoon, Hugh. The Australian skipper had a final net session in Sydney before his comeback for next week's 3rd test in Adelaide. Now over his back injury, Cummins and Nathan Lyon look likely to play. Former test opener Dave Warner is pushing for Usman Khawaja's return after missing the 2nd test due to back spasms.
The players are to keep supporting Uzi as much as we can off the field and making sure on the field that 11 that go out, or the 10 that go out with him, support him as well.
Thunder import Sam Billings defended England taking a mid-series holiday.
The media perception is, these guys don't care, they're having a holiday at Noosa. They'll be hurting more than anyone.
But at the end of the day, I'm not worried about what they do. I don't care, and I hope they lose.
Australia and England head to Adelaide tomorrow. The Sixers women's Big Bash title drought continues after falling to the Scorchers in last night's Challenger final at North Sydney Oval. Beth Mooney blasted 76 off 44 as Perth reached 8 for 183, cruising at 1 for 71. It started to go downhill when Alyssa Healy was stumped for 1.
That's a big one. Ainsworth clatters one into her stumps.
The Sixers fell 11 runs short, ending their season. The Scorchers now face the Hurricanes in tomorrow's grand final in Hobart. Benji Marshall says he hasn't earned his 3-year extension to remain as West Tigers coach, but is determined to give the club stability after a tumultuous fortnight off-field. In a huge show of faith, Marshall re-signed until the end of 2030 today, as Sean Millercamp was named interim CEO following Shane Richardson's exit. The West Tigers coach admits the boardroom turmoil is only damaging the club.
I was put off, if I'm being honest. I think the thing that you got to be real with is I'm like the fans. It's what's happened is such a shock.
Marshall is confident the boardroom war won't cost the club in retaining its stars Jerome Luai and Jareen Buller. Harry Grant has officially received his Golden Boot Award from two-time winner Darren Lockyer in Brisbane today. After starring in the Ashes, the Storm captain urged the ARL to hurry up and re-sign Kangaroos coach Kevin Walters for next year's Home World Cup.
If they sort of give him the opportunity now, then you can start planning. Let's put some things in place now, let some people plan and have a fair chunk of time to make it the best possible World Cup that we can.
Gillaroos winger Julie Robinson received her Women's Golden Boot Award as well. JaVale McGee is doing his best to keep the Illawarra Hawks NBL title defence alive. The former NBA star scored 30 points and had 10 rebounds in the victory over the Brisbane Bullets last night.
McGee with the steal. Look at the big man go.
One step and he's halfway down the court.
The Hawks are 8th on the ladder after 16 games. It took longer than expected, but Tim Tszyu finally came face-to-face with Anthony Velasquez before Wednesday's fight. The American had his original flight from Los Angeles cancelled, giving Tszyu plenty of time to think about his comeback bout.
Honestly, I just can't wait to get in there and punch his face. That's what I was thinking. That's what was going through my head.
I think he had a great career. I think he got his name off his dad. You know, his dad got a big name. But I'm here to beat him.
Tszyu has spent the last 2 months training in Miami after sacking his entire team following 3 defeats in his last 4 fights. I can't wait to punch his face. That's the guy you want in your corner,
It's
Hugh.
real fighting talk.
It is.
Good on you, Tom.
Thanks,
Thank you. The fountain of youth could be hiding in plain sight in the supermarket confectionery aisle. A new study has found the chemical that makes dark chocolate taste bitter could slow biological ageing. Researchers from King's College in London found people with high levels of theobromine in their blood, the compound found in cocoa, had DNA that was younger than their actual age. The top stories are next, including shots fired into a South Granville home. Also, an out-of-school hours worker accused of abusing and filming in his care makes a confession. Firefighting aircraft dodged disaster while fighting one after a communications breakdown. Police see red over a vandal attack targeting a memorial for the men and women in blue. And Disney fans in the director's seat, turning amateur movie makers with an AI deal.
Live from Sydney, 7 News with Hugh Whitfeld.
Welcome back. These are our top stories on 7. A speedboat driver who killed his girlfriend on the Hawkesbury River has been spared jail. Celebrity croc wrangler Matt Wright is set to learn his fate as his sentencing starts in Darwin. Adult content creator Bonnie Blue has been fined $20 before being kicked out of Bali. Tom Silvani's rape victim has given a harrowing account of the impact of her assault. The PM appears to be caving to pressure to act on the parliamentary expenses scandal. And Benji Marshall has defied the Tigers drama, locked in as coach for the next 3 years. A former out-of-school hours worker has pleaded guilty to filming and possessing child abuse material. David William James took sickening photos and videos of children when they were in his care at 6 centres across Sydney over 3 years. Today, the 27-year-old admitted to 11 charges appearing in court on video from prison. The case returns to court to start the sentencing process next year. A gunman is on the run after opening fire on a home in South Granville. A single gunshot was sent flying into the property on Clyde Street around 10:30 last night. It's believed the shooter took off in a white Toyota Hiace van. No one was hurt. Aviation safety investigators say aerial firefighters narrowly avoided disaster mid-flight as they fought a bushfire disaster on the ground in 2023. Aircraft from New South Wales and Queensland were involved on the border but couldn't communicate in the tight airspace. Anna McGraw reports.
Good afternoon. Well, aerial firefighting efforts were likely what saved the border towns of Wollongara and Tenterfield when a dangerous bushfire tore along the New England Highway in 2023. But a new report has revealed the operation in the airspace was chaotic and dangerous, with no communication between both the Queensland and New South Wales fire services. The border community came under siege on October 31 when hot and dry conditions created the perfect storm for a bushfire emergency.
It was something I never want to experience ever again. It was very emotional, wasn't it? And it was very scary, very horrifying.
More than 21 firefighting aircraft were deployed from New South Wales alone, with several more also operating on Queensland's side of the border. 4 of them were large tankers and a bird dog lead with no plan or destination. An ATSB report has found there was no communication between state agencies, with almost 30 aircraft operating in a confined airspace.
There was a lack of communication between the assets up in the air, and there was also some real tasking, information that wasn't available, particularly to the large air tankers.
Both the Queensland and New South Wales fire services have made significant changes since, including new cross-border procedures which were introduced in January last year.
3 teenagers have faced the Children's Court today over a brawl at Broadway Shopping Centre in Glebe. A gang attacked a boy in the food court on Wednesday night, throwing chairs at him. Christmas shoppers narrowly avoided being hit. Police have charged 2 15-year-olds and a 16-year-old with a fray. The trio was refused bail. The country's largest aluminium smelter has been thrown a lifeline by the Prime Minister, who has announced the government is finalising a deal to keep it open past 2028. Operators of Tomago Aluminium in the Hunter Valley had flagged that rising energy prices were putting its future viability in doubt.
We can't be just at the end of supply chains. We need to be more resilient as a national economy, and we need to make sure that we do make more things here.
The smelter is majority owned by mining giant Rio Tinto and employs more than 1,000 workers. In a cruel blow for the families of fallen police officers, a memorial in Melbourne has been targeted by callous vandals. Red paint was splashed across the sacred site alongside anti-police slurs.
To think that someone would do this at a time when we've recently lost 2 of our own is disgusting and beyond belief.
My partner, Glenn Humphries, was killed in the line of duty on the Eastern Freeway. Whilst I kept his ashes, that is basically a gravesite for me to go.
Police are yet to make any arrests. Brittany Higgins has been declared bankrupt by a federal court following defamation action launched by her old boss, Linda Reynolds. The former Liberal minister is pursuing millions of dollars in legal costs from Higgins, who was found to have defamed her in a series of social media posts. A trustee will now see if there is any money left from Ms Higgins' reported $2.4 million settlement with the Albanese government. The head of NATO is warning Europeans must be ready for war on the scale faced by their grandparents or great-grandparents. Ukraine is preparing to hand over a reworked peace plan with Russia, but confidence is clearly waning.
Winter and war are upon Ukraine for a 4th year. But away from the attacks claiming yet more lives, the diplomatic front line is frenetic.
Dear friends,
President Zelensky unveiling his response to America's plan for peace.
We sent the American team a revised version of the framework document we worked on. It includes 20 key points. These can be the foundation for everything. We are ready to work with President Trump.
He revealed that the US wants Ukraine to withdraw from its Donbass region, still unconquered by Russia, and the creation there of a free economic zone. Zelensky insists any land concessions must be agreed to by the Ukrainian people and be backed by robust security guarantees to make sure Russia won't take over.
We believe this document should be approved by the United States Congress. This would mean real, solid, legally binding security guarantees for our country.
None of this seems designed to gain Russian approval. Vladimir Putin thinks he's winning the war. His troops claimed they'd taken another Ukrainian town today. In Berlin, NATO Secretary-General spelled out, in dire terms, the potential consequences for Europe.
We are Russia's next target. And we are already in harm's way. And we must be prepared for the scale of war our grandparents and great-grandparents endured.
The plan aims for an agreement on a peace framework in 2 weeks, but that seems less and less likely. Raymond Dale, 7 News.
The United States is dialling up the pressure on Venezuela, imposing sanctions on the president's relatives and a further 6 oil tankers 24 hours after the US military seized a vessel. That boat is being taken to an American port. The White House has framed the operation as a war against drugs, but Caracas says it's designed to trigger a regime change.
We're not going to stand by and watch sanctioned vessels sail the seas with black market oil, the proceeds of which will fuel narco-terrorism of rogue and illegitimate regimes around the world.
The Venezuelan opposition leader has praised the US president's aggressive policy. Maria Corina Machado insists it's a necessary step while speaking from exile in Norway, where she accepted her Nobel Peace Prize. The winner of last year's Eurovision is handing back their trophy in protest over Israel's inclusion in the 2026 Song Contest. Swiss singer Nemo says while the competition stands for unity and dignity for all, Israel's continued participation shows a clear conflict between those ideals. So far, 5 countries have decided not to participate in next year's show. The Goulburn Police Academy today turned out its biggest class in more than a decade. While the new officers are a welcome boost, the force admits there's still a long way to go. Amy Clements reports.
Well, it was a big milestone for the New South Wales Police Force today as the 1,000th recruit of the year marches out of the Goulburn Academy. Commissioner Mel Lanyon, overseeing the largest class to graduate in 13 years, a sign the force is rebuilding after years of pressure on frontline staff.
That I will well and truly serve. It's a wonderful and very exciting day for the New South Wales Police.
Paying the recruits down here made a significant difference because it means that you can continue on with your life.
My pop just retired last year after 50 years of service. I think it was always going to be the coffers.
A moment of celebration, but also a reminder of the work ahead for the new commissioner. While today's numbers sound promising, the reality is the force still faces thousands of vacancies.
Green shoots are definitely showing.
And as the next generation steps forward, a familiar face steps off the parade ground for the last time. Retired Detective Superintendent Danny Doherty marching out with the recruits, marking the end of a decorated career just as theirs begins.
So the highlight is that thrill you get from actually solving a crime. The reward is the family to give them answers, solving those matters, bringing people to justice.
A symbolic handover as one chapter closes and these new recruits get ready to start their careers in stations right across the state.
Still ahead in Sydney's afternoon news here on 7, tech geniuses shared the honour of Time Magazine's Person of the Year. The food handling habits making you and your family sick during the peak of salmonella season.
7 News connecting Sydney.
A BMW peeled apart after a frightening high-speed crash.
Connecting you first.
A return trip soon to cost double.
Connecting the issues.
Turning Christmas shopping into chaos.
We're connecting people with people.
7 News, connecting you.
New South Wales Health has issued a measles alert after an infectious case visited several locations across Sydney, including a restaurant in Double Bay, the Macquarie Centre food court and the Metro and T4 train lines. Anyone in those areas between Wednesday the 3rd and Friday the 6th of December is advised to watch out for symptoms. 8 individuals have shared the honours in this year's Time Magazine Person of the Year. The tech titans are the brains behind the AI revolution that will have enormous effects on the world's future. Jeff Parry reports from the United States.
6 men and 2 women make up this year's Time Magazine Person of the Year, the 99th year of the award. They own, run or head up the world's biggest AI companies. Elon Musk, Mark Zuckerberg, Sam Altman. Less of a household name, Jensen Huang, who started up Nvidia in 1993 and is considered the godfather of AI. He's built a personal fortune of $236 billion. The effects of AI on our lives will know no limits.
How much autonomy should they have in terms of medical decisions or even warfare? Should they be let loose to be our therapists, to be our friends?
Advances in AI have been exponential in just the last few years. Promises of easier and more comfortable lives are weighed against loss of employment.
Maybe 1 out of 5 people will be unemployed because of artificial intelligence in the next 1 to 5 years.
While some see threats, others see business opportunities. Disney announced today it's investing $1 billion into a partnership with OpenAI. That will allow subscribers of text-to-video generator Sora access to 200 Disney characters. Today we saw President Trump trying to bring more order into the rules governing AI by signing an executive order restricting the role of states in favour of more federal responsibility.
With salmonella season fast approaching, experts are worried our food handling habits are making us sick. Scientists say we're bending the rules when it comes to defrosting chicken, giving bad bugs an opportunity to thrive.
I just leave it out in the warm water a little bit. It was just what I saw on YouTube.
The best way to defrost is in the fridge overnight, and that's not just for poultry, it's actually for all food.
The length of time we leave rice and pasta sitting in the fridge is another concern. What's safe and what's not? Coming up in 7 News at 6. To finance news, and the local share market has closed out the week in the green after a strong performance today. Here's Michael McCarley from ING Bank.
Good afternoon. The Aussie share market has had its best day in 3 weeks, surging over 1% to finish the session 105 points higher. Today's rally helped the ASX to record its third straight weekly run of gains since global markets had that slight pullback last month. And it was Wall Street's performance overnight that provided a boost for investor sentiment. US markets hit new record highs despite a rotation out of tech stocks after some disappointing results had investors questioning whether the huge spending on AI will provide the payoffs they're expecting. That weakness carried across to the local tech sector, with Technology One down 1.5%. But that wasn't enough to stop the rest of the market enjoying healthy gains, as 8 out of 11 sectors closed in the green. Making up about half of the ASX 200, it was the materials and financial sectors that powered the market higher. The major banks all climbed higher today, with Commonwealth Bank lifting 2%. The price of gold continued to sparkle ever brighter on its rise towards $4,300, with gold miner Newmont rocketing over 5.5%. And in currency markets, the Aussie dollar is stronger, buying 66.6 US cents.
Sydney 6pm News is coming up with Michael Usher and Angie Azimus. Angie, what's on the program?
Hello, Hugh. Coming up tonight, the man who crashed his boat in the Hawkesbury and killed his girlfriend escapes jail, how her family helped him get a lighter sentence. Also, the opposition piling on the pressure on the PM over the expenses scandal. Anthony Albanese now seeking urgent advice, the developments after a week of outrage. The Outback Wrangler about to learn his fate. Will he avoid jail? We'll have the latest details from Darwin. The new program to spend and save at the same time, how it will help women boost their long-term wealth. And we'll be live to Sydney Olympic Park as Lady Gaga takes to the stage in the first of her Sydney shows. We'll see if her Mayhem tour lives up to its name. Hugh, all of that and plenty more for you in Sydney's 7 News at 6 o'clock.
See you then, Angie. Thank you. Today is predicted to be the busiest domestic travel day of the year at Sydney Airport. Passengers are being warned to prepare for the Christmas rush. 5.8 million travellers are expected to pass through all 3 terminals between today and Australia Day. That's a new record due to unprecedented demand for international destinations. Flyers are urged to allow plenty of time for their journey and arrive 2 hours ahead if they need to check baggage for domestic flights, 3 hours if heading overseas. It was quite the early Christmas lunch for sick children in London who were invited into Queen Camilla's home for presents, a chat with Santa, even meeting his reindeer. Europe correspondent Jacqueline Robson has more.
Well, this is Her Majesty's annual traditional lunch held for children with life-shortening conditions. It's something you rarely see. It was the Queen handing out the meals. This tea party is now in its 20th year. The 10 children who were invited then got the chance to help decorate Queen Camilla's Christmas tree at Clarence House, the King and Queen's London residence. And the kids were assisted by her equerry, who used his sword to place the ornaments on the tree.
I wish you all a very, very happy Christmas.
Really ramping up the festivities, Santa and his reindeers turned up on his sleigh, said to be Blitzen and Dancer. The Queen at one point got quite a fright from the animal shaking its antlers. She did have quite a chuckle at that. Then came the gifts, and it wasn't just the children receiving presents. Santa handed Queen Camilla 2 wrapped gifts, said to be toys for her 2 rescue dogs, Molly and Bluebell.
Next in 7's afternoon news, our hot shot, the bottle of royal champagne that failed to pop at auction. And Amber Laidler is here with your latest forecast for the weekend.
Hello, tonight in 7 News, piling on the pressure, developments in the expenses scandal, how close our bushfire aircraft came to disaster, the damning report. Disney embraces AI, offering up its most famous faces, a new weight loss drug showing better results than the current wonder jabs, and a Christmas food safety warning. Sydney 7 News at 6.
Right now, Amber is back with the forecast. Looking gloomy outside. Amber, how are those storms tracking?
Hugh, storms continue to develop across eastern New South Wales this afternoon, with warnings still in place for Sydney's north this afternoon, also parts of the Central Coast and the Hunter. Meanwhile, in the city right now, under the clouds, it's currently hovering around 21 degrees. That top of 23 is a touch below average. Picking up the satellite image, we've got a coastal trough here. It's being fed plenty of moisture as winds push in from the Tasman, with humid and unstable air also helping to trigger storms that have dumped more than 70 mils in just a few hours this morning. That trough should start to move offshore overnight. There is another approaching from the west, though. That will see more showers late tomorrow. Only briefly, though. That wet weather should clear in time for Sunday. But taking a look elsewhere tomorrow, partly cloudy skies are forecast up in Brisbane. Late showers possible in Canberra and in Melbourne, but over in the west, looking very hot and sunny tomorrow in Perth. Here in Sydney tomorrow, though, we are expecting a mostly sunny morning. There's a chance of that shower or two and possibly a storm during the evening at this stage. Temperatures will start warming up, though. 27 degrees is the forecast top in the city, on the way to 31 tomorrow in the city's west. Looking pretty warm on Sunday too, under partly cloudy skies, 31 to 35 degrees. There is a chance we'll see a few lingering falls during the early hours of the morning, but then skies should clear. Southerlies are set to pick up later in the evening, though. Cooler, cloudy conditions forecast for the start of the working week. Things should warm up pretty quickly, though. We'll have more details at 6, Hugh.
Thank you, Amber. See you then. Now, our hot shot of the day, a bottle of champagne from Prince Charles and Princess Diana's wedding has gone under the hammer in Denmark. This 1961 Dom Perignon was up for grabs more than 40 years after the couple tied the knot. It was expected to fetch around $142,000, but was passed in, and no one took it home. Bit too expensive. And that's our 4 p.m. news for this Friday. Your next bulletin is 7 News at 6. I'm Hugh Whitfeld. Stay with 7 Now for the Chase Australia. Thanks for joining us. Have a great night.